Hi, Regina. I'm so
Hi.
happy for this beautiful, beautiful news about your pregnancy. And you are so blessed, and I'm blessed as your therapist as well. I'm really feeling that in my heart. And I want to ask you, how is your son, Morty? Uh, is he happy and excited to have a brother or a sister? How is he
He
feeling?
is. He'll be 4 in February, but it's really cute. I've been explaining like I'm working on growing this baby, and we're all
Yeah.
working together on growing this baby. And he has a lot of questions about it. And he's like, "Well, will this baby turn into a big boy or a big girl like play with?" I was like, "Yes, they will. They will." So he's
That's
very
beautiful.
excited.
Really
Um,
excited.
so it's fun watching him process it because I know he has friends in his class that are big brothers or sisters, or little brothers and sisters that have
Yeah.
siblings. So he knows the concept of what it means for another child to
Um,
be in the family. But it's fun to see him kind of get excited of like, oh, it's growing right now. And I show him like it's only this big now, and he's like,
Beautiful.
but it'll grow bigger. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, and you
It's
get to
beautiful.
see it grow in my belly. So he's very excited.
That's
Yeah, he
great.
loved it.
Does he kiss your stomach?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I think I feel a little too much bloatation in my first
Okay.
trimester to have him go near
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But not yet because he can't see it yet. And he's like, "Really in your belly button?" I'm like, it's happening.
And how long have you been dealing with this secondary infertility, with this issue about not being able to get pregnant?
So I'd
Mhm.
conceived twice before and had challenging pregnancies. The first one was a miscarriage that required a DNC at about 12 weeks. Then the second one was actually a twin pregnancy, and one twin, my son, was all right, but the other one experienced a lot of issues, and passed about halfway through the pregnancy. And there were a lot of other complications that made every day of that pregnancy come very touch and go. There was no guarantee. We were living in a lot of stress. So I think coming off of those two experiences, it was really hard for me to commit to trying to conceive again. I had a lot of stress and anxiety around it. It was hard for me to imagine opening myself up to trying to have another baby again. Um, and so I had been off birth control for a long, I mean, pretty much for years. And, kind of like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And, it never happened. And I had a lot of fear. And I was still carrying quite a bit of grief from my previous pregnancies. And, with the strange circumstances around, especially the twin pregnancy, where I was so happy because I had my son, and it was everything worked out for him and he was fine. It was still very hard to grieve for the child that passed. So I had been carrying a lot of that emotion
Yeah.
in me, which was resulting in ultimately fear and anxiety. And I I had been recommended to you by a good friend of mine, um, and she knew I would be open to hypnosis. And
Yeah.
I thought, like, well, I know how powerful hypnosis can be, and I would love to experience that. Um, and so when we did our sessions together, it really, forced me to revisit those earlier pregnancies and learn from them and really gather some perspective of what was going on with me, with everyone around me, um, and kind of let go of that tension and that fear and that grief I had been carrying. And those sessions were truly transformative. And actually, were after those sessions, was at a place where I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can commit to this. I can feel confident with
Yeah.
trying to conceive again, being more active with it, more thoughtful about it, and not fearing that positive pregnancy test, which, while I wanted it, I also feared it before. And so once we did our sessions and I listened to the recordings, I was very open to it. I didn't carry that stress and anxiety. And 2 months later, again, after having not been on birth control for years, only 2 months after, in the third month after our sessions, I conceived, and it wasn't, I hadn't been putting tremendous amount of pressure on myself. It just happened, the stars aligned and it happened. And what's been so remarkable is that this pregnancy, I have been very calm and very comforted. And I think if I had gotten pregnant before our sessions, I would be living in still a lot of fear and anxiety, and I would have a really hard time grappling with it. I'd probably have to go through a lot of therapy, be on medication, be taking active steps to manage my anxiety. And I'm very self-aware of the fact that, like, wow, I experienced this trauma and I'm here right now and I'm excited. And my expectation is that everything's going to be fine. And I feel very supported. So I think that perspective I gained from our sessions is probably contributing to making this a much healthier pregnancy, because I'm not carrying around a tremendous amount of anxiety. And for my own peace of mind, I can sleep at night. I can go into my appointments and not feel sick. So it's really been an amazing experience. So I don't know how that correlates to the actual act of conceiving. But I know I'm very grateful that I conceived when I did. And that I had that perspective and that experience with you, to go into this pregnancy in my current state of mind. And I got to think it helps, when you're going into this and your heart's open and you're not feeling that anxiety. I got to think that helps in terms of conception. So I don't know how one would measure it necessarily, but it worked for me. And now I'm between, I'll be 9 weeks on Sunday. I've been to 2 ultrasounds now. Everything's measuring as it should. Heartbeat is as it should be. So far, so good. We're right on track. And I feel hopeful, and I expect all the other doctor's appointments and ultrasounds to go the same way.
That's absolutely beautiful, beautiful news. And I'm so happy for your transformation, for this journey that you have gone through with this therapy session. And can you tell me, did that first therapy session we had help you to discover and eliminate the mental blocks for pregnancy immediately? So you had immediate results.
Right. And I felt that release immediately. I mean, even if the results with the positive pregnancy test, let's say they even took longer, I felt the benefit that those sessions had to me was above and beyond, again, that positive pregnancy test. I was able to process my feelings and emotions related to those pregnancies and be open. And it didn't feel like something that was so tight in my chest every time I talked about it. Even since our session, I've heard of other friends, becoming pregnant. And usually when I would hear that sort of news before, I would just go into so much fear for them. Like, oh gosh, like it would be like, oh my gosh, okay, are you okay? Is everything okay? So much anxiety, even for them, that now when I hear, when I've heard the news of other people becoming pregnant after our sessions, it's just pure excitement. So
that proves your levels of fears.
So just being able to hear the news and not have my mind go right into a spiral of everything that might not work out, that it goes right into like, oh, that's so great, I'm so excited for you.
That's amazing. It's so
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are very real results.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
and again, just the value, and I think we've spoken about this before, but the value of being to go back and revisit some of those traumatic scenes and then also see them from a different perspective. So what
Yeah.
at the time seemed very devastating, I can revisit those scenes and see the perspective of everyone around me. To see how supported and how loved I was.
Yeah.
It lets you sacrifice some of that control, but for real, I
Yes.
mean, to say
Yeah.
letting go of control
Yeah.
is almost an impossible thing
Yes.
to do on your own.
From a conscious level. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it really takes um, a bigger movement of knowing that you're supported, having faith
Yeah.
in that things will work out differently and that things will work out as they should for you.
Yeah.
Whatever that outcome is, to be
Beautiful. Yeah.
open to all of it.
Yeah.
Because I had some hard things happen before, but to be able to revisit them and still find a lot of love and joy in those experiences, which I wouldn't have been aware of without
Yeah.
our sessions, kind of opens you up to put yourself out there again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really has helped with those feelings of control.
Yeah.
Um,
That's beautiful.
mhm.
And tell me about the second session, reconnecting with motherhood. That session, how did that affect you? That was a very
Oh,
special session as well.
that was an amazing session. You know, that session um, was so powerful in terms of bringing me into the moment,
Yeah.
the here and now, and really appreciating and soaking up in all the amazing experiences I have on a day-to-day basis with my family now.
Yes.
Really appreciating everything I've already been so blessed with. Identify those moments
Yes.
as they're happening to say, wow, this is it. Like what a special moment.
Yeah.
So being able to revisit, you know, really happy memories
Yeah.
of me, soon after having my son, and as he's grown up, it just makes me more aware of each time we share in those happy
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
So that was a really powerful and very special session. Um, that has stuck with me, and I'm so grateful because it does bring me more into every happy moment I have.
Yeah.
So
Yes, and you also remembered your grandmother and you realized how supported and loved you were.
yes,
Her
I
presence.
remember my grandmother,
Yeah.
and so my grandmother had experienced quite a bit of trauma related to pregnancies and delivery and things like that, and so having those memories of her and kind of getting, seeing how she overcame and how, she went on to lead such a happy life and was blessed in so many ways as a mother herself, and with her family. That was a really special thing to experience in that session as well. And, she had passed away, 2 years ago, and so to have that session where I was remembering her, she was just as I remember her. Everything about
Beautiful.
her personality,
Yeah.
everything, it was like she was with me again. It was really beautiful.
Beautiful. And another reminder of how supportive you are and how loved
Yes,
you are and blessed.
absolutely.
Yeah. Can you tell me something about the transformational audio recording that was personally created for you, for your needs? How did that affect you to create visions of being pregnant again, of imagining how your baby's growing and how your body's perfectly fine? Can you tell me about the
Yeah.
emotions you've experienced?
So I guess I'll speak to it. So I listened to it. There were prior to conceiving, as I listened to it, it was pretty remarkable. I was really convinced I was pregnant, even in those months where I hadn't yet conceived. And I guess some people could see that as a good or bad thing, but for me, it really highlighted how powerful the recordings are, because I was like, even down to very specific symptoms, I would have them, and it occurred to me that I was like, oh my gosh, my body is physically reacting to these recordings in a very real way. And it kind of occurred to me like, well, if it can do this, then like it's just a matter of time for it to do the other thing as it should. Yeah. Like everything has to line up, and these things are rare. To conceive it is rare, but it gave me a lot of hope, because I was like, well, if I'm feeling all these symptoms and my body is so convinced this is going on because of the recording, then what's stopping it from doing anything? Like there's a lot of power in that. So that was a big takeaway from the recording. Also, I'd say, I think it also helps just reemphasize, putting my anxiety at bay, comforting me in the sense that everything's going as it should, setting those expectations. And when I say setting those expectations, it's kind of like twofold. Like I have the expectation that everything's going to be fine, but then I'm also, going back to some of the insight gained on letting go of control. I also know I don't have control, but I don't have the fear of that. So it's like, I expect everything to work out, but I'm not scared. I don't have that fear of things not going as like meeting my expectations. But as of now, I really, I believe these things. I really believe everything's going to work out fine. So
that's beautiful. That's because this is a miracle, and
it truly is. All aspects of it, from the conception itself to even my state of mind. There's, I'm really shocked. That's actually, to me, the most impactful thing is that my state of mind in this is that I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm not I can experience this and be happy and excited and not be overcome with fear.
Fantastic.
That's probably the most eye-opening thing, and have it. And even the thought of being pregnant prior to our sessions would throw me into a spiral of fear and anxiety prior to our, I wanted the baby, but I also feared, the process. And after our sessions, I don't have that. It's amazing.
Amazing. I'm so happy for you. And I would love to ask you to send me the ultrasound photo, or to send me the photo of a baby one day physically, or a card or something for myself.
Absolutely.
That forever. And
to do that, because
thank you.
I contribute so much of this whole experience I'm having right now to the work you did for me. It really has been transformative. I feel so grateful, so guided that, I was recommended to you, that it worked out, that we had these sessions, because it's changed everything. It's changed my whole outlook. And now I'm here and I'm living this experience, and I can appreciate every moment of it. And I thank you for all of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for these beautiful words and sharing this beautiful happiness and moments with me.
To your point about intention, your intention was very obvious to me throughout all of my interactions with you. I felt so comfortable from the first second we started speaking, to open up and to be really honest about my experiences. And, I trusted you every step of the way. You were so supportive throughout my sessions. Those are difficult.
Yes.
Hypnosis is difficult to revisit. And I'm so grateful that it was with you, and that you were there to support me and walk me through that every step of the way, and, bring me to such amazing results.
Yes.
Asking all the right questions, really helping me to gain perspective on, what had happened, and to learn and grow from it. So, your intention was clear from the beginning.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Would you recommend me to the potential mothers for a therapy?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's one woman actually I have in mind right now. She's about to go through another round of IVF, and I think she would benefit a lot from this.
Yes. Yeah. Okay,
So,
great.
and I've talked to her about my experience with you, and she's very open to it. So I need to actually make the connection. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank
That's
you.
a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will definitely keep you posted. I think of you, the past 2 ultrasounds I've had, I've thought of you immediately as and everything is, lining up exactly textbook style.
Yeah.
Even to your words of how, some of the words you had in your recording, I hear that feedback from my physicians. They say that you're measuring right at this and right at this. And I think of you every time that you had ingrained that concept of like the perfect textbook pregnancy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I do think of you every time I go to my doctor's appointments, and I will definitely send you the ultrasounds I have, and I'm looking forward to the ultrasound I'll have on February 5th.
Okay, I'm so happy.
That will be 13 weeks, so we'll be able to see a real baby in there.
Yes. Wow.
It'll be bigger than a gummy bear. Yeah, bigger than a gummy bear. Really, I cannot thank you enough for all you've done for me, and I cannot emphasize enough, how beneficial and incredible this experience has been, and I would recommend it to literally everyone that wants help with this.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Really, really powerful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. That would be lovely. I'm so grateful for you for giving me this gift of giving this a testimony to help other potential clients find me, but also other mothers to have their children. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a very special experience. Danielle, and I'll follow up with you in about a month. With more info. Yeah, a month from today, actually.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Regina. I wish you a great day.